Okay, so for the practice, we are first going to start with writing the ratio as a fraction in simplest form. So remember, our first number always goes on top, and so we have, not a highlighter, we have 12. Okay, we have 12 to 15, so 12 goes on top, 15 goes on bottom. And then we simplify it, so what number goes into 12 and also goes into 15? That's 3, so we're going to divide by 3 on top and bottom. 12 divided by 3 is 4. 15 divided by 3 is 5. If you haven't done this on your own already, I would really like it if you would pause the video and do the practice problems and then come back and check your answers. All right, number 2, we have 24 to 9. Remember, this little colon here means that it's saying the word 2, so we're comparing 24 to 9. And so we have 24 on top, 9 on bottom. What number goes into 9 and goes into 24? And that's 3 again. So 24 divided by 3 is 8. 9 divided by 3 is 3. And it's okay to just leave it as a fraction. We want the fraction in simplest form. We aren't going to turn it into a decimal. Decimals are not what we're looking for here. We keep it as a fraction. Number 3, we have 198 women to 110 men. So 198 goes on top, 110 goes on bottom. What number goes into both of those? I don't know. You can just divide by 2. They're both even numbers, so let's do that. And we get 99 over 5. And then 11 goes into both of those. Sometimes it's easier to see it once you work through it a little bit and get smaller numbers. So 99 divided by 11 is 9. 55 divided by 11 is 5. We also could have divided by 22 from the start. But if you didn't know that 22 went into both of them, it's okay to just keep dividing until you get 2 numbers that you recognize. And either way, you'll get down to the simplest form. And then 1,000 songs over 2 megabytes. I know that you guys don't really have to worry about that as much anymore, but whenever we had our iPods and stuff, we could only get so many songs per megabyte on it. So that's what it's referring to. We know that 2 goes into both of those. And so we're going to divide by 2 on top and bottom. We get 1 on bottom and 500 on top. All right, so now we're going to write unit rates. And so unit rates, remember we do our first number always goes on top. That's our numerator divided by our denominator. So we have 5.40 divided by 24 cans. And this gives us 0.225 for 1 can. And so I'm going to make sure that I write my labels. All right, so we have 360 miles in 6 hours. So 360 divided by 6 is 60 miles in 1 hour. So that means if I'm driving 360 miles in 6 hours, I go 60 miles in just 1 hour. All right, so we have $28 for 7 people. And so 28 divided by 7, we know is 4. So $4 for just 1 person. 50 meters in 27.5 seconds. So we just divide top divided by bottom. So 50 divided by 27.5. And we get 0.81 repeating meters in 1 second. All right, so now we're going to look at ratio tables, and we're going to find the unit rate. So don't start with your zeros, because 0 divided by 0, we can't do it. But remember, we have the top is our x and the y is our bottom in our table, and we always write the fraction as y over x. So I'm going to start with 3 and 6. So I have 3 laps in 6 minutes. And so I'm going to divide 3 divided by 6, which equals 0.5 laps in 1 minute. I also could have used 1 over 2 laps. It doesn't matter where you start in this because we'll get the same thing. And so I'm going to do 1 divided by 2. I get 0.5. That's my numerator. So again, I get half of a lap in 1 minute. All right. So either way, like I said, doesn't matter which one you start with, we got the same answer. So you can use any part of that table. The only one you don't want to use is your zeros. We stay away from that. All right, so now we're looking at grams of protein per serving. So this is my x, this is my y, and I'm going to write it as y over x. I don't use my zeros, but I'm going to use, let's go with the middle one this time. So 30 grams of protein in 2 servings. So 30 divided by 2 is 15. So I have 15 grams of protein in 1 serving. What's really cool is if you have a 1 in your x, it's kind of a helpful hint. If you have a 1 in your x, then that means that will go in your denominator. So if I use this column here and I have 15 grams over my 1 serving, it already told me my unit rate because the 1 is on the bottom. So what we're trying to do is get the 1 to be on the bottom of our fraction. So if you have a table and there is a 1 in your x row, then we already know our unit rate. It would be 15. Over on number 9, there wasn't a 1 in our table on our x column, in our x row. So we had to actually solve to find our unit rate. But here we had that 1, and so we could have just saw that 1 was our unit rate.